So recently I have found myself on my phone a lot more than usual. I don't know if it's what's going on in the world at the moment. I don't normally latch on to news stories or watch anything like that. When I go on my phone and I go on social media like Instagram, I have my Instagram fairly well curated to just watch things that I enjoy and have a positive influence on my life. Sometimes I watch like funny memes and stuff like that that my husband sends me, but most of the time I watch stuff on art, mindfulness, spirituality, beauty, all different types of content I've got on there. And I don't really watch anything. I don't watch too much to do with current events, like what's going on in the news and things like that. But I got caught pretty bad recently watching a couple of reels that made me feel rubbish, basically made me feel really anxious, made me feel a bit fearful about what's going on in the world, and a bit down and low, pretty down and low actually. And I spoke to my husband about it and stuff, and he was like, you need to just stop going on your phone so much. And I was like, well, I don't really go on my phone that much. I don't think I do. So I went onto my screen time, my screen usage, and I realized, oh my god, like there are some days where I'm on Instagram for like an hour and a half, 2 hours more recently, and I never would have thought it would be that much, because I always say I don't have enough time in the day to go on my phone. I'm so busy with work and the kids and all the other stuff I've got going on in my life. But those little 5-10 minutes that you're on every time you've got a little moment and you pick up your phone, they really add up. And if you're watching stuff that is negative, that is not good for you mentally, it's going to make you feel pretty low and pretty rubbish. And even the stuff that I do feel like positively impacts me, maybe I'm over consuming as well, because I don't think anyone needs to be watching stuff that much in the day, especially when you're someone that's complaining they don't have enough time to paint or create or draw or sketch. So anyway, what I decided to do is I decided to put down my phone and pick up a pen and pick up my sketchbook. Oh, here it is. So every time I have a moment where I feel the urge that I want to pick up my phone, if I'm having a little break from work, if it's the evening and I'm just chilling out, or I've got some time after I've had my lunch, I have got my sketchbook and my pen next to me. And rather than picking up my phone and watching doom scrolling on Instagram or Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever you watch, I decided to do little sketches in my sketchbook. And this is something that I have dropped off on. I thought that I need at least 20-30 minutes to do a really nice page in my sketchbook, like a really nice, well-curated page that is, full of watercolor and looks beautiful and looks great. And because I haven't been having that much time recently, it's been putting me off. But I've realized that that really is just an excuse, and I need to stop doing that, because I love sketching, I love drawing, I love creating in any type of way. So, and I do have the time to do it. So now I don't think, oh, I've only got 5 minutes. I think, okay, let's pick up my pen and my sketchbook, let's look at something and let's do a little quick doodle, let's do a little sketch, let's do a pattern, let's do something abstract. Just create. And what I found from doing this was a real change in how I was feeling. I felt a lot more calmer in the day. I felt more relaxed, less anxious, less worried. I wasn't thinking or overthinking so much. When you're sketching or drawing or creating something, you are pretty much fully in the moment. All you're focusing on is the lines you're making and on the object or whatever you're focused on drawing. You don't have time to be doing anything else or thinking about anything else. and I felt like I was doing something that was meaningful. And what I get is when I look back at my sketchbooks, I love looking back at sketchbooks. It's like looking at photos, but I sometimes find like it has even more meaning because I can always remember pretty much exactly how I was feeling in that moment, what I was doing, where I was, and all that kind of sensory information kind of comes back when you go back through your sketchbook. It's a really, really lovely feeling. And a lot of the time I draw stuff that is meaningful to me. I mean, I'll even draw, and I'll show you some of the pages from my sketchbook, but I will draw, you know, my son sitting on the sofa having some fruit and watching some TV. I'll draw, I mean, they're not perfect sketches of him. He's a lot more cuter than the sketches I do on my sketchbook, but I just love drawing him when he's doing that. I'll draw, you know, their toys. I'll draw some things that we bought from holiday, some ornaments and stuff that we have around the place. I'll draw our kettle, my mug, my cup of tea, and my biscuit. And I think what's really lovely is when you create a sketchbook, in a few years down the line, or whenever you look back at that sketchbook, you'll always remember that time. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. And even if they are just little scrappy little sketches, being creative, I think, is just so important. If you are a creative person and you naturally have that inclination and that need to create, when you don't do it and you're doing other stuff that is not giving you any value, is not benefiting you in any way, you will feel more anxious, you'll feel more down and depressed sometimes, you know, because you're not fulfilling that creative urge that you have. And I know that when I am doing something creative, when I'm drawing, painting, or even when I'm doing like fun things with my son, like we bought some dry clay, modeling clay that you can get, the air dry clay. It was Diwali recently, and we made little diyas, which are little tea light holders for when you put the candles around in Diwali. And we made loads of those, and we gifted some to family, we kept some for ourselves, and that was such a fun time. We had such a great time doing that together. It was a really lovely kind of like bonding experience for us. He loves creating, I love creating, so that's a fun thing we do together. And you know, you can always look back at it and think, oh, I made those. Isn't that cool? Like, that is so special and unique to you. So even if it's not, you know, sketching, being creative and doing something creative really, really benefits you mentally, emotionally. It gives you more confidence. It just makes you feel good. I don't really know how to explain it in so many words. It just makes you feel really good. And it turns out that I'm not alone in this. When I actually looked online and I did a little bit of research and found out that actually scientifically there's so many studies that say being creative has such a positive impact on your life. It has positive impacts on stress, on your mood, on your well-being, and even on your physical health. And also being creative just gives you a safe space to express yourself. It increases your self-esteem and your confidence. And it also helps with, you know, if you're somebody who's an overthinker, I could be definitely an overthinker, or ruminates a lot, you know, breaking that pattern, stopping it by picking up a pen and a sketchbook or doing something creative helps stop those negative thought loops. I feel like when you go on a phone, you're just adding more to your brain. You're just, even if it's positive stuff, right, you're just adding more and more information. I feel like we are on information overload in this society, but when you're creating something, it's almost like decompressing. Rather than stuffing more stuff into your senses and more information into your brain, and you're kind of decompressing and relaxing into it and letting go. And I think a real key part to that also is letting go of perfection. I think that's one thing I hear a lot of people say, and maybe I've even said it to myself, like, oh, I'm not very good at this medium, or I'm not actually really good at drawing anymore, I haven't done it for years. And that was one of the things that I did encounter when I first, you know, started creating again. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm not very good at drawing, but for this, it's just not about that. It's not about being like really good and creating these amazing works of art and these amazing pieces. It's about being creative, being in the moment, making something for yourself and letting go of that perfection and just drawing, just putting pen to a page and making something. Even if it's like scribbles on a page and you've made something abstract, you know, like, I don't know if you remember, maybe I'm showing my age here, but I remember going on kind of like Paint on Microsoft back in the day. I think there's that Paint app, and I'd do loads of like squiggles and scribbles, and then I'd just colour in the shapes that were left over with loads of different colours, and you'd make some sort of abstract piece. That was really, really satisfying for me, and I've actually done that in my sketchbook. I've done something like that where I've just, you know, made loads of squiggles and lines, and I've just coloured in all the shapes inside, and it's really, really satisfying and it feels really good. So yeah, you don't always need to be really good or really skilled. The benefit just comes from the doing, and over expecting perfection and comparing to others just reduces the enjoyment of it. So if you're going to do this, don't do that. Creative work should be self-accepting, and like, time commitment matters. Even if it's just small amounts of time that you have, don't let that put you off. Even 5 minutes, you can do a quick doodle and a quick sketch. And I'm not saying I'm perfect and I never go on my phone and I never go on social media. I have my Instagram and stuff quite curated to things that I enjoy watching, to things that I feel benefit me, or things that make me laugh. So I still go on there. I've just put a cap on my phone to, I think, 30 minutes a day. And I can set that on my iPhone. You can set that up really easily, where you just cap it at 30 minutes or whatever time you want to cap it at. And then after that, you can't really go on it unless you reset it and say, no, I want to, you know, ignore this time. But I don't do that. I just leave it. If I've used up my time for the day, that's me done. That's my social media usage for the day. And to be honest, since I've been doing this, since I've been sketching and using that time to make my little doodles and things, I've had days where I haven't even used the full 30 minutes. I've had days where I've just been on there for 10, 15 minutes and I don't feel any different. I don't feel like I've missed out. I don't feel like I'm losing out on anything. I actually feel better, a lot better than I did before. And try different mediums as well. You know, it doesn't have to just be a pen and a sketchbook. Try pencil, try colouring pencils, try oil pastels if you've got some, try watercolour, try different styles as well, try patterns, try abstracts, try still life. Anything that piques your interest, just try it and just be creative. So yeah, for me, putting down my phone and picking up a pen and a sketchbook has been one of the best shifts that I've made. Draw something messy, draw something silly, draw something fun. Just draw, because in that act, you might find a bit more peace, a bit more presence and joy, and some time to just reconnect with yourself. So put down this and pick up this and this, and just watch your life change for the better. Thanks, guys.